Supernatural had a way of tapping into the fans' emotions, and that is probably one of the major reasons why it's lasted so long on TV. Speaking of emotions, I don't think any other two characters could draw them out like Sam and Dean, aka the Winchesters. That being said, let's take a look at some of the times when the Winchesters broke the hearts of fans. What you need to know. Throughout its 15-year run, the long-running science fiction and fantasy program on the CW was no stranger to putting us through emotional ordeals, and by the end of the first season, we had even come to anticipate it. But that didn't make handling it any simpler. Supernatural mastered the art of crippling their fans with utter heartbreak that frequently left us in denial at what we had just witnessed. From nail-biting cliffhangers to the deaths of beloved characters, the Winchesters were the center of the program, particularly two brothers by the same names of Sam and Dean, who were instantly adored by the public. Since SPN strongly emphasizes family, many characters evolved into that over time. Family doesn't just involve blood after all, but even though every member of this errant family left a mark on fans emotionally, Sam and Dean's heartbreaking moments will always be able to affect us in a unique way. From the heartbreaking Season 8 finale to the first time we lost one of the brothers back in Season 2, these boys never cease to leave us reeling, even years after the show first aired. Here are some heartbreaking moments for fans of Supernatural. Number 1. The entire Carry On finale. With the exception of the first 5 minutes of the Supernatural finale, certain moments stand out more than others, even though the entire episode left us in tears. It was inevitable that the beloved show's final episode would be depressing. Nothing could have foreseen how much it would leave us reeling by the end though. While Dean's passing sent us into an emotional tailspin for almost 10 minutes straight, the boys' reunion in heaven shattered our little emotional stability. In their pilot close at that, it just made the end of the series all the more real, and millions of people were not ready to say goodbye to our favorite wayward monster hunters. Number 2. Sammy, Close Your Eyes, Brother's Keeper. Under the strong influence of the Mark of Cain, Dean continues down a darker and darker path following the death of Charlie 2 episodes prior. He massacres the Stein family and savagely beats Castile, nearly killing him with an angel blade, before warning him that he won't hesitate to kill him or Sam should he see them again. When another hunter dies because of Dean's spree, he summons Death, played by Julian Richings, to kill him before he can hurt anyone else. Death refuses, but agrees to send him far away in exchange for killing Sam, convincing Sam that the world will be better off without them. Sam reluctantly agrees, which results in a heartbreaking interaction between the two. And when Sam placed pictures of their mother and them as children at Dean's feet, what little emotional stability you had left dissipated immediately. Number 3. I'm Proud of Us. Do you believe in miracles? By the end of the second season, we were used to the idea that death in the SPN universe wasn't always final. It frequently didn't last very long at all. Sam and Dean were experts at both dying and coming back from the dead. You boys die more than anyone I've ever known, according to Ash. However, Dean's death in Sam's arms shortly after Metatron stabbed him in the chest in the Season 9 finale was a devastating blow. Even though we were aware that he probably wouldn't stay dead, it was nevertheless difficult to watch Sam sob as he held his battered and bloodied sibling. He unexpectedly returned with black eyes, which led to the birth of Deanman. Number 4. Why Don't You Also Believe in Us? Profits and Loss. Fans of Supernatural received a gut blow like never before in the penultimate season's 12th episode. Dean thinks that the only way to keep everyone else safe is to imprison himself for all of eternity in an impenetrable coffin at the bottom of the ocean while trying to discover a method to save Dean and get the alternate universe Archangel Michael out of his head. In the previous episode, Profit and Loss, Sam initially agreed to assist Dean with his plan, but by the conclusion, he had broken down. The youngest Winchester punched his sibling in the face before tucking himself into his arms. It was difficult to observe Sam's words and facial emotions as he struggled with the idea of losing his sibling once more. Number 5. Don't Ever Leave Through That Door Again. The song When the Levee Breaks. Over the years, the boys had their fair share of altercations, punch-ups, and fights. There is no question in my mind. However, their fight in the penultimate episode of Season 4 may have been the worst of all. The Winchester brothers' 4th season was rocky, with Sam's addiction to demon blood, betrayal, and secrecy at the center of most conflicts, and it ended in a vicious altercation between the two. When Sam defends Ruby from Dean, whose relationship is already in ruins, Dean calls him a monster. Sam's strength is unimaginable due to his demon blood high, and he effortlessly knocks Dean to the ground. Sam goes so far as to strangle Dean while maintaining his denial that he knows Dean and never will. Dean, who is still lying on the ground moaning in agony, urges him, "If you walk out that door, don't you ever come back." It was difficult to watch the boys choking each other so viciously. Number 6. I Wish I Wasn't Able to Feel Anything. Sammy, Heaven and Hell. In addition to Dean's Dean's bodily afflictions throughout his stay in hell, it's understandable that it also caused him some emotional distress. For the first half of season 4, Dean kept to himself and was adamant about not talking about his time in the pit, since he didn't want to bring up the painful memories. However, everyone has a breaking point, and Dean reaches his at the conclusion of episode 10. While it may have only been 4 months to Sam, Dean said it felt more like 40 years to him. He said that over the course of 30 years, he was subjected to torture in ways he could have never imagined, and over the course of the last 10 years, he began torturing souls for his own amusement. He completely broke down and said he wished he couldn't feel anything. Fans were left in shock for a very long time by Dean's obvious anguish, guilt, and inner turmoil. Number 7. Sick 'em boy, no rest for the wicked. It might rank among the 15-year run of Supernatural's most horrifyingly graphic scenes. Dean's time was up after his demon deal to save Sam the season before, and the Hellhounds had come to collect. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Sam, Dean, and Ruby, played by Katie Cassidy, failed in their last-ditch attempt to save the oldest Winchester brother. Unbeknownst to the boys and the audience, Lilith had taken control of Ruby. The Lilith-possessed Ruby set the demon dogs on Dean in a horrific and cruel turn of events, and Sam can only watch as the Hellhounds rip his brother to pieces. No one could keep their eyes dry as the season concluded on such a gut-wrenching cliffhanger as witnessing a helpless Sam cradling his brother and then a battered and wounded Dean begging for Sam as he is hung up in hell. Number 8. Swan Song by The Montage. Only 5 seasons were ever intended for Supernatural. Eric Kripke, the show's creator, insisted on that, but when the program received approval for a 6th season, the conclusion was changed to create room for yet another chapter in the Winchester brothers' lives. In other words, Sam wasn't intended to show up outside Lisa's house under the streetlight. The episode may have changed significantly, but the underlying idea has not changed. Additionally, our hearts were destined to be broken. Dean had to see his brother reappear to vanish into hell for all time. In the montage of the brothers throughout the years, Sam regaining control, we knew we were in for an emotional roller coaster no matter how the series finished. Number 9. I had one job and I botched it. All Hell Breaks Loose Part 2. The first time one of the brothers passed away was toward the end of season 2. Sam and other characters with different talents who had all encountered the same yellow-eyed demon as kids were the main subject of season 2. Azazel took Sam to a deserted village, and while Dean and Bobby discovered him, they were forced to see him being brutally stabbed in the back by one of the others seized. Nothing could have prepared us for when Dean began talking to Sam after Sam's death, even though the scene of Sam's death left us in tears. Dean admitted that he thought he had one job to protect Sammy, but he thinks he botched it. The raw emotion behind the scene only increased when Dean agreed to sell his soul to save his younger brother. It's a heartbreaking scene that doesn't hold back. So, which Supernatural moment is your most heartbreaking? Kindly tell us all about it in the comment section. And if you enjoyed watching the video, it'll be great to give it a like and share so your pals can check it out also. And last but not least, subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell to keep getting more interesting content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.